What's going on, No Carbs Nation? How are we doing today? So today we're going to talk about the results of my CTA test. With this whole cholesterol thing. In addition to that, I went ahead and ordered some of my own tests on Own Your Labs as well to do a little deeper dive. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to try to keep it as high level as possible, but still touch on the important things. The report from the CTA test is, I'm not a doctor, obviously. Some of these words are beyond me, but I want to get to the highlights of the things that I think are important. But as a reminder, the reason why the CTA test was even done was because since going to a low-carb, animal-based, carnivore-ish lifestyle, my cholesterol is shot through the roof, despite all the good things, right? Despite the reversing type 2 diabetes, no more brain fog, no more sleep apnea, lowering my triglycerides from the 260s to 80s, all the weight loss, all that good stuff. Despite all that, my total cholesterol and LDL are through the roof. They really are. They're extremely high. We'll get to that in a minute. So, had a CAC test done a couple years ago. Probably 3 years ago now at least. If not, no, it's longer than that. But that came back with a 14. That still wasn't good enough for the doctor. They still weren't putting me on meds, statins. I still refuse. So every year, this conversation happens with my doctor, and God bless him. I don't fault him. My doctor's actually a pretty cool guy, and he's trying to help. And in fact, when I asked for another CAC test to see, to compare, he went a step beyond and went to a CTA. CTA, with contrast, is much more detailed, much more in depth, which is exactly what I wanted, right? I wanted to get more into the root of what's going on. So props to him for doing that. We still don't agree on the whole statin thing, but who knows? I might be wrong. We'll see. Before we get to the results, funny story. So speaking to my doctor, when he got the results, I'd actually read the results before he called me. But when he called me, he looked at it has these I forget what they call it, the RAD scores. And at the end of the report, it lists the RAD scores in order of what they mean the severity. Well, obviously, the last one, which is what his eyes got drawn to, is the worst case scenario. He called me, he's like, man, I'm gonna tell you, he goes, this isn't good. Emergency rush to cardiology, and we're probably gonna do a stent, all this stuff. I'm like, what are you reading? I said, it's not the same report I read. And he stopped and goes, my bad. It's a little funny story. Again, nothing on the doc. Doc's cool as can be. We'll see. Anyways, to the results. A lot of medical jargon in here I won't waste our time with. There's some mild DV or RV dilation. I think one quick thing before we get to the impression, some of the things that stand out to me as good, as the pericardium contour preserved, no effusion, no thickening, no calcifications. There's something else that's kind of cut off here, but no thickening, no calcifications, no thickening, no calcifications. I like to see that, right? Again, the calcium scoring, based on the Gadsden score, the 9.2. Very pleased with that, seeing how it used to be 14. Some have claimed on other social media posts that that's the margin of error and it might not have changed. I don't know. Who the hell am I to know? Who the hell are they? There was some luminal narrowing. So one of my arteries is somewhat clogged. I believe that's around 40%. So not sure, I guess it could be worse at 51. But in that artery, it says no significant plaque burden noted. So I actually have to go see a cardiologist, and he can probably explain that to me better. Again, I'm not a doctor, but on to the impression of the test. So non-cardiac findings were reported separately. It has to do with the lungs and all that. No significant coronary artery stenosis. I'll take it. Again, it does mention though the luminal narrowing, approximately 40%, a Gadsden score of 9.2, and mild RV dilatation. Doc said that's from my weight training. He said nothing to be alarmed about there. So overall, with all the concern with my cholesterol, and there's still concern, I think, but overall, I think the CTA test didn't turn out too bad. Again, the highlights for me were seeing the words of no significant plaque burden, no calcifications, improving my Gadsden score, no significant coronary artery stenosis. All those things are great. Obviously, the narrowing of the one artery, the luminal, that's not fantastic. Some have said that for a 51-year-old man, that's actually not bad. It's probably about on par. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't want to be on par. I want to be better. But so that's the results of the CTA test. So my doctor still wants me on a statin. I have politely refused that recommendation yet. Doesn't mean I won't, but I'm hesitant. I'm trying to do everything but that. He did refer me to the cardiologist. I need to set up an appointment to go see them to have them review, the CTA results as well, and get their expert opinion. So again, overall, not a bad story. Not as good as I was hoping, not bad. In addition to that, since my insurance won't cover certain tests, I found a company called Own Your Labs. Check them out. It's pretty cool. I ordered my own LDL-P test. Now, wasn't exactly thrilled with my findings in that either. So before we get into the LDL-P test, again, my cholesterol is a concern for my doctors. So my total cholesterol is 321, very high. HDL 54, LDL 253, and triglycerides 87. Now, triglycerides, when I was on a standard American diet, shot up to the 260s. So that is a good news story. 260s to the 80s. I'll take it. The total and LDL is what has people worried. Another quick note, the triglyceride to HDL ratio is a 1.6. As I understand it, anything under 2 is good. So again, not all bad there. I think there's some good. I think there's some more concerning things going on. But what's concerning me now is the LDL-P, is the small particle size and the big particle size, is that really a thing? Because if it is, I don't like these results either. So LDL-P is 2943, very high. Small LDL-P is 1132, about double what it should be. On a good news though story, that LDL-P test also included the LPIR, which measures instant insulin resistance. Man, I'm doing great there. So I'm not insulin resistant. I'm not eating sugar, not eating grains. All my health markers have improved except for that dang total cholesterol and LDL. What to make of it? We're still trying to figure that out. But I wanted to share those results of my CTA test as well as the LDL-P test I ordered on my own. I'm going to see the cardiologist, see what they have to say. Again, I'm 51 years old. I look and feel better than I did at 31. I have improved on so many things. No longer type 2 diabetic, no more sleep apnea, no more GERD, no more brain fog, no more neuropathy. I've lost weight, improved my triglycerides, not insulin resistant. All these things, they're all such a benefit. But it's the one nagging thing is that total and LDL. Could it be that bad? I don't know. Is LDL really a concern? Again, depending on who you listen to. I don't have the answers. I'm just sharing my data with you and my journey. So I hope you find this helpful. If you're a doctor or a scientist that would love to do a clinical trial on someone that has these results, someone like me, I'm open. I volunteer for your clinical trial because I want to continue this deeper dive. I want to find out what's going on and help myself as well as help others. So That's it. Thanks for tuning in, No Carbs Nation. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, hit the notify. Let's spread the word of better health. That's it. I'm rooting for you. God bless you. Take care, No Carbs Nation. Talk to you next time.